Again, let me start all over. For some reason, they don't want to give Trump props for everything he's doing. Now I got myself a new camera and testing it out to see how it works. Do I like it better than my other camera, my iPhone camera? So I'm gonna test this out by just speaking my opinion. So for some reason, they don't want to give Trump props for taking down Iran after everybody was complaining that they're developing a nuclear weapon and they're going to use it against us. Now we got Democrats saying that no, they're not using it. Or no, we shouldn't go against them. We should let them be. And if they got a bomb, so be it. That's crazy.
The war drawing intense criticism from Democrats, meanwhile.
Yeah.
And you've got Ro Khanna, progressive congressman, comes on our show a lot, which we are grateful for. But now he's appearing with Jackie over the weekend that he would be okay with a nuclear Iran. Here is that exchange now.
That's crazy.
They should not be nuclear, but we had the JCPOA that had their enrichment down to about 3.6%. We could have had, through Oman, tougher sanctions and negotiation. The Oman
but even
mediators
Democrats
were
acknowledged
saying
that was just putting off the eventuality of them getting a weapon, not blocking it entirely.
Could have had tougher negotiation in terms of making sure they didn't have missiles, but there was no imminent threat.
So that's all the Democrats do. Negotiate, and give out money. Just complete loss. Instead of going in and taking them out, period.
Now there's a threat to the United States. We've created a threat. There were no ICBMs that Iran could launch here.
I believe they said they had the material to make 11 bombs.
But they couldn't reach the American homeland.
All of it seems to be just a question of time. Ben Shapiro is with me now. And Ben, thank you for your time on this Monday. What do you make of the logic you just heard?
I mean, I think that it's unbelievably short-sighted. Obviously, when you're talking about threats to America, you're not just talking about threats directly to the American homeland. You're talking about threats to American interests in the region, in Europe. The idea that you are supposed to wait until they have ICBMs tipped with nuclear weapons to actually do something is absolute idiocy. I think what President Trump has done here, which is truly genius, is he has recognized that you don't wait until the threat is right upon you. You use targets of opportunity. And the reality is that because
it's nice to have a grown-ass man making decisions, logical, common sense decisions.
The Iranian regime was incredibly weakened by the 12-day war last year because they did not have the capacity to deter oversight from the IAF and from the American Air Force, because the Iranian regime was experiencing significant financial crisis, and because millions of people were in the streets just a few weeks ago. That was a time when the United States could move to finally neutralize a threat that has actually threatened Americans, including creating the death of at least hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans over the course of the last 47 years. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The president right here is doing the bravest thing that I've ever seen an American president do when it comes to foreign policy. And you'll have second guessers like Ro Khanna suggesting everything would have been hunky-dory if nothing had been done here. But those same people have been saying the same thing as Iran spreads its terror tentacles all over the Middle East and abroad.
I would just say, Ben, if it works, it's a game changer. And it probably really is since the fall of the Berlin Wall in November of 1989, since we have seen something like this that could have a domino effect on multiple countries in one region.
That is absolutely true. And if you look at what President Trump is doing to reshape the geopolitical map here, reshaping the map in Venezuela, possibly reshaping the map in Cuba, reshaping the map in Iran, if Iran were to fall, this would be the single most effective and important American administration in modern American history, bar none. And what President Trump is doing here, again, make no mistake, is gutsier, I believe, than anything that even Ronald Reagan had to do when he was facing down the Soviet Union, because of the fact that the Soviet Union was perceived by Americans widely as an existential threat in a way that Iran is not. But Iran, of course, is also allied with China, allied with Russia. They are sort of part of an axis of opponents to the United States who are building power, who are spreading their tentacles into South America, Latin America, and throughout the world. The president here has been taking extraordinary action in order to preserve America's interests, not just for the next 5 or 10 years, but for the next 100.
Let's look at the homeland right now. A couple of headlines stuck out at us. One from the New York Times, one from NPR. I'll go ahead and read them. With regard to the synagogue attack in Michigan, a community struggles to understand why their neighbor attacked synagogue. The subtitle: "The man, a U.S.-born citizen in Lebanon, lost family members during an airstrike there last week," which apparently has been confirmed. NPR right at the screen. In a small Lebanese town, grief and fear follow the Michigan synagogue attack. Is this the natural inclination, or is this Trump said it, Trump did it, Trump's bad.
I mean, it is Trump
No.
said it, Trump did it, Trump's bad. But the reality is that because the legacy media are constantly trying to draw moral equivalence between all sides in the Middle East, what they're neglecting to mention in any of those reports is that the person who went and tried to murder people at a synagogue in Michigan, his relatives were members of Hezbollah in Lebanon. And by the way, even if his relatives had not been members of Hezbollah, which apparently they were in Lebanon, who were killed by an Israeli airstrike, even if that had not been the case, after October 7th, how many American Jews did you see who decided to randomly attack an American mosque based on what happened on October 7th? The answer there is zero. And if it had happened, you certainly would not have seen many sympathetic headlines from the legacy media, and the legacy media doing the work, unfortunately, of people who deserve zero sympathy.
Ben, thank you for coming on. Listen, I don't know if this is going to be a quick deal, if we're going to be in this for the long haul, but we'll do it together. Thank you, Ben. Have a good Monday. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on.
Let me pause this. Legacy media refusing to give Trump any props. So there you have it. I think Ben Shapiro definitely with Trump's side, and he makes logical sense. He's with Trump about what he's doing. And we got to take out Iran. We gave them a threat. We told them to stop it. They didn't listen. So now Trump is committing or following through with his promises. But what do you think? Comment down below. My name is Noel. Here at Verbal on Live. I'm trying out the microphone from the Ozbot. It's my new camera. I'm trying to see how it sounds, how it works. Now let's say I'll switch it back to my other audio microphone, the Elgato Wave, which is right in front of me. Is this any good? What I'm going to do is take a look at both, see how it sounds, and move on, because that's how things work around here. With that said, see you in the next video. Peace.